Let's move on to this now. The case against 3 former senior officials at SARS was postponed at the North Gauteng High Court this morning. The trio faced charges relating to the so-called rogue unit. Their lawyer, Bernard Hotz, says it's frustrating to have to deal with another postponement. He was speaking to ENCA's Heidi Jokas.
Once again, as you said, another postponement. This postponement occurred at the request of the state to enable them, the NDPP, the new NDPP, to have an opportunity to review the decision to prosecute my clients. We have thus far still not received complete disclosure of the docket, notwithstanding having gone to court getting orders that the full docket should be disclosed. We say that there's still been insufficient disclosure, so we're going to be pursuing that avenue as well. But in the interim, the new NDPP is in possession of preliminary representations which were made already in March of last year, which the erstwhile NDPP, Mr. Abrams, did not consider. So we've handed over this morning another copy of those representations just to ensure that the NDPP has all relevant documentation in her possession, and we look forward to seeing the outcome of what we say should be a thorough process where, if you have regard to what my clients have already said, we believe that the decision to review the prosecution should be a successful one in favor of my clients. In the interim, we're going to persist and say, please provide us all the documentation that we're entitled to receive, so that if we need to prepare for our case, we can do so, having regard to our fair trial rights. We cannot prepare a case in the absence of having all the documents that we're entitled to.
Why do you think there's been this holdback of documents?
It's very difficult to speculate. It's apparent that, unfortunately, when one has regard to this case, you have to look at it with a full conspectus of what's going on in our country at this moment in time and what was going on in our country a few months ago. You cannot divorce that from what's going on with this case at this moment in time. Unfortunately, this matter also now consumes some time from the Public Protector's Office. So we can't divorce what's going on in this forum with what's going on in other forums. We say that if one has regard to all of the facts and all of the evidence, justice should prevail at the end.
How are your clients feeling?
One can never underestimate the psychological trauma. Leave aside the financial trauma, because, believe it or not, my clients are having to foot the legal bills for this case out of their own pockets. So leaving aside the financial cost, the psychological trauma that these 3 gentlemen have had to go through, when really all they've done is stood up to say, wrong is wrong, right is right. We occupied a position within SARS where it was our duty to ensure that people who conducted themselves unlawfully were held accountable. We've seen what's happened at SARS. We saw what the Nugent Commission found about how SARS was decimated by the very complainant in this matter, none other than Mr. Moyane. It's no secret. We've seen that. And we've seen what's happened to our economy because of the decimation of the tax collecting agency. We all want a thriving economy. You cannot have a thriving economy unless you've got an efficient and effective tax collection agency.
Just lastly, speaking about the SARS inquiry, we saw Judge Crone actually retracting and saying that the Sikakane report should have not ruled the fact that the rogue unit was unlawful, and he's since provided an apology to all those implicated. How do your clients feel about that, and will you be using that retraction as part of your evidence or presentation in court?
I would like to take an eraser and erase the words rogue unit. It is despicable that such words have been used and continue to be used. It is disgusting and is despicable towards my clients and towards the commitment that they had as civil servants to doing good in this country. So yes, we welcome Judge Crone's apology. My clients really welcome it, and we intend, notwithstanding what other officers say at this moment in time about a rogue unit, we are comfortable that the unit that was established was an entirely lawful unit, and it was established for a lawful purpose.